Let's talk about Saturday. Let's preview it for the NBA. Who are the stream targets off your fantasy basketball waiver wire, and is Michael Bolton one of them?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and give me fuel and give me fire and give me that which I desire. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to fanduel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free, and we're also the #1 sports podcast network in the world. Yeah, we're now #1. Thank you to you for making us get there. And I always like when you make me get there. Let's talk Saturday in the NBA, the daily look ahead. There are 8 games on. Now, if you've been around for a while, you know that usually when I'm doing these Saturday previews, I'm doing them early. My son is going to play baseball, so we go earlier in the day. So the injury news isn't always there, right? Which I would love to know. But what we do have information on at the moment is that De'Aaron Fox is the big news here. He's going to play on Saturday. So we're going to see some interesting changes for the San Antonio Spurs. That news has just dropped right now as I get into talk about these games. But that is the update that Foxy is getting ready and he is available. Let's take a look at some of the biggest storylines. And of course, I think the Fox one is the biggest storyline, but I didn't know that was happening when I hit record on this show. But I'm telling you now that that's what it is. The other big storylines of the day for Saturday, where there are 8 games on. What is going on with the Clippers? They're bad at the moment. Kawhi is out. Harden is out. John Collins doesn't play. Bogdanovic got more minutes now, and Beal is terrible. It's a mess. We thought that they'd be quite deep, but they're bad. Chris Paul's unplayable. They're bad. And there is an direct impact here on fantasy because some of us, were excited about John Collins. But he looks like a drop. Some of us thought Bradley Beal was a good flyer. He's terrible. How does it all shake out? The next thing I want to look at is in Philadelphia. One of the big stories to me is the guards. Because that's where the depth is. It's Maxey. It's the dominatrix, VJ Edgecombe. It's Jared McCain. He's done it again. It's Quentin Grimes. How did he do it? McCain did nothing last game, but is 15 minutes really what he does? And if he doesn't, and if he plays more, then who loses? And then in Indiana, again, these are fantasy messes. Is it Isaiah Jackson? Is it Jay Huff? Because we don't know. What about with the guards? Is it Ben Sheppard again? Does Ray J. Dennis bring the camcorder out for one last go at things? Does the newly signed Monte Morris mean anything? Probably not, but we need to find this out. And these are some of the big questions for Saturday. It is also an interesting day where there are 9 teams out of the 16 teams playing on Saturday that are on the second half of a back-to-back. So you're going to have some very big weirdness things going on Saturday after NBA Cup Day. What are some big injuries? Now, again, we know the information here that Fox is going to be available, which is a W to be able to know that in advance. But there are other statuses to look at. Does Harden play? Because he was out for personal reasons last game. So we can use a little bit more Chris Dunn there. You would have thought that Chris Paul would step up. But again, so sorry, Chris. It has to be done, man. How many players just not over? Chris Paul was fine last season. Just 1 year in, washed. Is Brook Lopez washed? It feels like it. There's certain players that just dropped completely. Austin Reaves, big question mark. He's got a groin problem. It does seem like he will play on Saturday, but I don't know. And then if he is out, it's more Jake LaRavia, it's more Marcus Smart. And then in Chicago, I'd assume him being out has an impact. It should mean more for Trey Jones. It means more for someone like, amazingly, Isaac Okoro, and more for Kevin Huerter. And it's one of those unresolved injury statuses that we do have for Saturday. Let's take a look at how the games shake out, what the games are on Saturday, and where we can pay attention to some of this stuff across the day. You got Mavericks, Wizards, Raptors, Sixers, Bulls and Cavs, Lakers, Hawks, Blazers, Heat, Pelicans, Spurs, Pacers, Nuggets, and Suns, Clippers, again, is the final game of the day. So the first game is the Mavericks and the Wizards. Anthony Davis's return is getting close. He's currently doubtful, but we'll see whether he is available. Now, Bilal Coulibaly is out on Friday. I don't know whether he'll be available on Saturday or not. Derek Lively remains out. Keyshawn George is questionable, so we'll put him questionable for Saturday as well. And then Chris Middleton is available on Friday, but I don't think he's playing the back-to-back, so I'll label him doubtful for Saturday. But obviously, some big pieces that could be in and out for both teams there. The next game is the Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid, I'm putting a questionable tag here. Same with Jared McCain, because it is the first of a back-to-back, and both of these guys sat the second of the back-to-back the last time they played. Now, I expect that they both play in this game and then sit the next one, but I don't know. Paul George remains out, and there was an update today, which is an update that doesn't give us a specific timeline, but doesn't sound good, to be honest. It's like they're going to be meeting to find out the next steps in the... Like, what? So he's not particularly close. And then Dominic Barlow is doubtful. I think he's doubtful. It's not an official status. He's still out, and that gives more opportunity there for Trendon Watford in that position. The next game is the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Lonzo Ball. He's out on Friday. I expect that he plays on Saturday. Dean Wade, I expect, is out with his eye injury. Kobe White remains out for the Bulls. Dosunmu questionable. And DeAndre Hunter should be available to play. The next one, we've got the Lakers and the Hawks. We know that Trae Young is going to be out. Austin Reaves is the big question mark here. And then there is the spiral, Luke Kennard, who's dealing with an illness. And if he is out, it means you're going to get a little bit more of Vic Krejci and probably some more Keaton Wallace in that role. The next one is Portland and Miami. We know that Bam is out. There was a report that came out today that, and I don't know how trustworthy it is, that's suggesting that Bam might be out for 3 to 6 weeks. Just keep an eye on that. We don't know if that's true or not. They said originally day to day, but yeah, teams lie. So just keep an eye on that one. Scoot remains out. I was going to call him Ty Hero. That's not his name. Tyler Hero is also still out for Miami. New Orleans and San Antonio. You'll notice that I had De'Aaron Fox out on this, but he is going to play. And then we've got Jordan Poole out for 7 to 10 days. We're getting to the stage where it is feasible to drop Poole. I will hold, and the out tag or the IL tag is going to be useful here. Zion's going to be out. They have labeled Kelly Olynyk and Jeremy Sohan questionable. It is a back-to-back, so just as they return from their injury, whether they play, what they do. And Yves Missi is out on Friday. I'm not sure about his status. So there's a lot in that game that can be a little bit all over the place. 2 more games. The next one we're looking at is the Indiana Pacers and the Denver Nuggets. We know Indiana's going to have most guys out. Nembhard, McConnell, Mathurin, Cam Jones, Quentin Jackson, all these guys remain sidelined. Obi Toppin, whereas the Nuggets, remarkably healthy. No real concern. Zeke Naji is probable, and that doesn't really matter for anybody. And then the last one is Phoenix and the Clippers, and then the 2 big ones there are going to be Jim Harden and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi sprained his ankle on Monday, missed Tuesday, missed Thursday. But what it does mean is those streams that you had, there's just a little of extra value. Not that they were good, like Chris Paul wasn't good and Bradley Beal wasn't good, revenge game. But yeah, Derek Jones and Chris Dunn and even Bogdan Bogdanovic, the extra value in those players. I also don't expect that Dylan Brooks plays. It just seems he's a little bit further away. But we do know that Jalen Green returned. He was unbelievably aggressive in that first game on Thursday. He played really well. Now that is crazy how well he played and how well he shot. We know that we don't trust anything of that from Jalen just yet. But it was, it's better than the alternative of coming out and starting terribly. We'll come back and take a look at some of the schedule things and some of the streams of the day. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by DoorDash. The NBA season is heating up, and DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep you in your bag all season long. You're watching your favorite fantasy players. You're watching your favorite teams. You're watching your favorite players. Just in general, DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something which they're calling the bag drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. DoorDash has you covered also for late night highlights, last minute watch parties, and double OT fuel ups. So the next time someone goes off 50, use the promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass. Plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with the promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to US residents 21 years or older. Visit DoorDashinyourbag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. All right, we're here previewing Saturday again. Thanks to everyone that made Locked On, not this show, but the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the whole of the US. That is a huge achievement for us. I've been with this company on this network since we started in 2016, so we're almost 10 years in, and it's been a huge ride and a huge growth to get there. And I'll be honest with you, you guys who watch this show, you are a huge part. You're a major part of that. You're a major part in driving this network. So thank you to you guys who watch this, listen to this, download it, comment, interact. It's been amazing. It helps me out, obviously, in my life with my work. But pushing this network to number one in the country is absolutely amazing. So thank you to you guys for delivering that. All right, let's talk some schedule stuff. There's not a huge amount here because we talked about some of this stuff in yesterday's show, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. In terms of back-to-backs, we can check yesterday's show to see there's the 9 teams that come in, but there are 2 teams with the weekend back-to-back, and both Saturday and Sunday are streamable days. But you're going to have situations here. Now, I don't believe Isaiah Jackson's sitting back-to-back, so we're good there. But you're going to have the Embiid one in Philadelphia, and you're going to have maybe the absence of Barlow, but then you're also going to have Jared McCain, whether he's available for back-to-backs or not. And Indiana, they might as well be not available because you never know game by game who's going to play. But there's streamable options, even like a Trendon Watford is a pretty interesting stream in Philadelphia. Not Reed Sheppard, the other Sheppard, Ben Sheppard, who could be trash, absolutely. But you might get 2 games out of him. And maybe that's enough across a weekend back-to-back. I would normally also now do the chunks because we like to look at what's happening in the next 5 days. But with the way the schedule works, the chunks that I did yesterday are the same chunks that apply today. We're talking about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And the team that plays 3 games between that time, we've got Indiana. That is a team to target that plays 3 games in the next 4 days. All quality games. Because Wednesday is a monster 12-game day. And there's also no 5s and 2s. No one in the next 7 days plays 5. And no one in the next 7 days plays 2 games. So we can just move straight on and talk about the streams of the day. And some of these will change based on injuries and availabilities, but I think one of the best streams of the day is going to be Marcus Smart. Smart, somehow, after looking just horribly washed in Memphis and not good in his first couple of games for the Lakers, he's looking much better. Now, it does help that LeBron's out, and it does help that there is a potential here that Reaves is out again. But I think that there's a chance that he just stays in the starting lineup anyway, and they go with him next to, I got to do it. Him next to the Mpitsu. Yeah, Rui Hachimura, and then Reaves and Doncic. LaRavia will likely claim the other spot if Reaves happens to be out, and he would become a much better stream in that spot. But Smart is just doing enough at the moment, which I didn't really think would be the case. But here we are. For 12-teamers, with the absence of Jordan Poole, with the absence of Zion Williamson, Jose Alvarado is probably going to play enough minutes to be considered. And if I'm in like a league that's 175 players deep, Alvarado, for at least the short term, might be worth it. It also helps solidify the floor of Jeremiah Fears. Now, you'd think that it might mean that Jordan Hawkins would play more, but bro just can't play. He's just bad. So it's probably just Alvarado and Fears who are getting that little bit of a bump up there in that scenario. And even someone like the depressed penis, Saddiq Bey, because we saw that he replaced Jordan Poole last game, so probably gets to do it again. And then there's Derek Queen in that mix as well. It is risky to always try Ben Sheppard, but he was great last game, and they are at least giving him first crack at that starting job again. And then for deeper 16-team leagues for categories, Saddiq Bey is there. He's not going to blow you away, but it does appear that he'll get that opportunity to start. For Yahoo points, Jarace Walker is the stream of the day, and for ESPN points, we're going with Aaron Nesmith. Always risky, but the process we go with is where is the volume, what is the opportunity, and he has it. I think it was just 2 games ago where he scored 30 points, real-life points. And the opportunity gives him the ability to do that. Whether he does it or not, anyone's guess. But the opportunity is always a key factor in that. We'll come back for more detailed stream things. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter show, guys. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back and there's no better place to get in on that action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you miss a start of a game and or you're seeing something, you're watching the game and something's developing right in front of your eyes, you're like, I'm going to place a bet on this live because I can on FanDuel. You can do that for who's going to score next or fourth quarter comebacks, whatever it is. You can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It enables you to put your knowledge and your eye test legendary status to the test on FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I, we go by the beat of a different drum, but we also make decisions every day. But on Prize Picks, when you're right in those decisions, you get paid. You don't have to miss any of the excitement of watching your favorite sport because with Prize Picks, you can put your knowledge there and get in on that action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes you less than 60 seconds to make that lineup, and you can play anywhere the Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Plus, they've got the stacks feature, which means you can pick more on someone's points, Steph, and his threes, and his assists, if you want, all in the same lineup. So download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, let's dig in now to more of the streams of the day. I might just do a quick recap of the streams of the day as well. Just put that little slide up for you. Marcus Smart for your 10-teamers. For your 12-teamers, Jose Alvarado. 14-team category, Ben Sheppard. And deeper, 16-teamers, Saddiq Bey. For Yahoo points, we're looking at Jarace Walker. Hello! I didn't even do that. That's how tired I am. And for ESPN points, we're looking at Aaron Nesmith. For your 10-team category streams of the day, Marcus Smart, Jose Alvarado, Ben Sheppard, Chris Dunn. A lot of steals there. Tons of steals available on Saturday. And then Trendon Watford also just pops his head up and says, "Hi, I'm Trendon Watford." And you can have a look at him. He's getting some really weird sort of out-of-position assists at the moment. He's a good passer, though. 12-team category stream guys, Chris Dunn, Justin Champagny. That's me working under the assumption that Chris Middleton is out. Saddiq Bey, Bruce Brown, and Drew Smith. Again, Bruce Brown, Drew Smith, even Champagny, Chris Dunn, like steals up the wazoo. What about for deeper category league streams? Najee Marshall, steals as well. Jalen Smith, Jordan Goodwin in Phoenix, Jonas Valanciunas in Denver, maybe, and Julian Champagny, who's starting, but he's not really doing much. And then we can move on to Yahoo points. Who are our streamers here? They'll do a proper one. It's the national tile. It's Jarace Walker. Hello! Daniel Gafford. While AD and Lively are out, you roll with Gafford. I don't think it lasts, but you roll with him. Aaron Nesmith, Jeremiah Fears, and even though Jalen Green is back, there is still some value in Colin Gillespie. I'm not sure that it's going to stick. In fact, I think it probably won't. But while Brooks is out, Gillespie is at least usable and is available in a lot of spots as well. For ESPN points, we are starting off with Aaron Nesmith, but we're followed quickly by the national tile Jarace Walker, Colin Gillespie, Davion Mitchell, and then even Isaiah Jackson, which is always a risky proposition to put out there. But Isaiah Jackson is a stream target for ESPN points leagues, or really any league if he's available, for Saturday's action. Go. And that is a rapid-fire Saturday preview show. I alluded to it, or I told you yesterday about it, and I alluded to it at the start of the show. There won't be any recap of Friday's games today. I am heading off to watch Metallica, so first time I've seen them in like, 10 years, 15 years? 15 years. When the hell was that here last? It's a long time anyway. And it's my son that requested to go to it. So he's like, I want to go see Metallica. Really? All right, let's go. So rock education lesson time for him tonight, and it'll be cool. So no recap show coming. Thumbs, don't expect them on Fridays anyway, but I may have done it because of yesterday's schedule. But you don't need all that explanation. All you need to know is thumb, bang. We're the #1 podcast network for sports. Guys, thank you again. See ya.